reason and a reason for everything. I'm going above and beyond. So I'm not gonna go above and beyond for the person.
No, 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 no.
You know right from wrong. You know how you felt. Cause that on.
Thank you for continuing to watch Real Women, Real Issues. For those of you who are just joining us, we are talking about domestic violence against men and the fact that we don't hear too much about it. Most of the times we're hearing that women are being abused. So now we're going to talk a little bit about domestic violence, exactly what is domestic violence. And we're also going to talk about why women hit men. Now, when we left for our break, we were making light of a situation where a woman would potentially take advantage of a man.
Well, it happened, Adrienne.
Yeah, she talked about that.
Happened.
And we were, just saying how it is difficult to envision that a man would actually be resistant. I could actually see that happening, in a situation where a guy is being stalked by a young lady that he does not like, is not attracted to.
And that is a form of domestic violence.
Someone that they have not had a relationship with and they're not attracted to. It is difficult. I know that it happens, but I'm going to be honest. It is difficult for me to imagine that a man could be overtaken physically. I understand the aid of drugs, but, physically to the point where a woman would, sexually assault him.
But think about the movie Beyonce played in, and her husband was being devoted, and
but he was not in a relationship with her. That's that stalker situation.
But she wanted him. She was
She
trying.
did.
She was
She
trying.
did.
She even took over Beyonce's
And she
identity.
used drugs. She drugged him.
Yeah.
She did.
She drugged him. So I don't think there was
There was no hanky-panky.
nothing going on there.
She tried to,
They kept
manipulate
the
the
movie clean.
situation.
But that's how easy it can happen.
But again,
But
that's that stalker situation that,
But again.
I can see that.
But
Is she
again.
saying but again?
Yeah, what's the but?
What's the but again? It's like she's trying.
What is the but again?
I ain't going there anymore.
Oh, okay.
I ain't going back.
Okay. Okay.
So why'd you keep saying but again?
I just ignore it. Take it back.
The thing about it, though, the case that I referred to, again, this woman is serving 40 years in prison, okay, for allegedly raping this man. They did not give any details about his size or her size or anything like that.
Does size matter?
Well, I'm just saying, generally men
it's a lot
are
of little men that love big women.
Well, I know, but when you think of a woman overpowering a man, you think of a more muscular stature, or we generally just don't have quite as much muscle mass as men do, right? That's how women are made, right? We are made with more fat.
Sure.
That's true, because women were made to bear the children, so we have more insulation in our bodies.
Okay.
And that's why we have to work to maintain that muscle mass. But the men, however, their bodies, that's how they were. That's how they're made. So I mean, I can see, though, if you've got a woman who is out there, maybe emotionally, maybe she's trained herself physically, maybe she could overpower
But
me.
Lifetime, watching those Lifetime movies, those women not big.
And they know,
And they outsmart those
karate
women.
and jujitsu or whatever.
We are definitely blessed in the brains department. But listen to this. It says in their 2000 report on family violence, the Reverend Sam and Bunny Sewell point out that women are 3 times more likely than men to use weapons in spousal violence.
Now you know why, don't you?
Because they feel like they perhaps are, the husband's too big, so they have to do something to bring him down.
That, and women tend to be more emotional.
True. You're throwing shoes and phones and remotes, and in
that's a
Josette's case, she's throwing knives.
That's a sign.
But you talk about cutting people all the time.
Only when you do something to me.
But I can vouch.
Okay.
This is a fact. I've seen her husband. I don't know. I haven't seen his whole body. Before I can see, I've never seen a cut. But
I am not abusive. Okay.
Have you checked the back? We need to make a strip down here.
I'm not abusive.
Okay.
Call in. Josette's husband, 770-559-2999, and let us know if you're being abused.
You better not.
All right, listen to this. women initiate most incidents of spousal violence. And I truly believe what you're saying, because you're saying that because we're emotional, and I know I get wound up if he's not giving me the attention. You know, if I'm saying something and I'm really passionate about what I'm saying, and he's not responding the way that I want.
And this is the school teacher.
I am a teacher, and I'm trying to teach everybody about the things that I do, and I'm saying do as I say, not as I do. But I know that
Those the ones you need to watch too. Go ahead.
if she interrupts me one more time, we're gonna go to break,
Like I
and
said,
it's gonna
see
be
what I mean?
co-host abuse.
See what I mean?
We're gonna talk about that.
See
That's
what I
gonna be
mean?
our next show.
And y'all heard her threatening.
And that's not a threat, that's a promise. A promise, as
Say
your
what you
grandma
gonna
used to say. See, you interrupted me, lost my train of thought. But I think that what you're saying about the emotional side of it is that we do initiate it. It's like the example that you gave about your parents. Don't walk away from me. I'm really serious about this. This means so much to me. And then you're making fun of it. And man, you know you can
But wait a minute.
laugh and shrug it off like it's nothing.
But see, the other side of that was, from what I saw, he wasn't really making light of her. He didn't want to, add anything to the situation. He was trying to diffuse the situation, is what he really was trying to do. She didn't take it that way.
But see,
he was taking it that
But you
way.
have to know your mate, okay? If you already know the triggers for your spouse, so walking away and exiting the room, you may use that as your justification for diffusing the situation, but he knew that that was a trigger for her.
No, but it could also have been he was also at a point too,
Where he was getting angry.
where he was becoming angry. He's like, okay, this is the time for me to remove myself,
Okay.
because if I don't.
And see, for me, I have family members that I have watched get abused, the females get abused. And so I guess that's why it's hard for me to see that men get abused, because
You haven't seen it.
I haven't seen
Well,
that.
see,
Well, I've seen it, and
I've seen
I'm
it.
gonna share
I've seen it.
some of my experiences, and I've often said something about my brother and his wife, and she is very, very aggressive. And as I've stated before, we've been out, and he's done something, discipline the children in a way that she didn't necessarily agree with, and she got up out of her chair, walked over to him, and just started hitting him. And she didn't care who was around. There were a lot of people there, and
Oh,
she
that's
just
awful.
she
Do
will
y'all report it?
she will
No,
embarrass him.
no.
She will say
People don't
things
report
to
that.
him. Actually, there was an instance where the police came, and he told them that she had kicked him, kneed him in the private area, and he said, "There's only so much I can take."
But see,
Now, and that's another thing in the research I found. When police are called for women, police officers tend to be ready to take the report and this, that, and the other. When police are called for men, it's like you don't see the books being, they're, okay, what happened on your side? Let me write this up.
Right.
You
And
don't
we're gonna
know.
take
no.
both of you. They never say, okay, we're gonna take you, ma'am, because you. In my brother's situation, they were told, we're gonna take both of you.
That's what they
never,
started
you know,
doing.
That's
what they started doing now.
She
Yeah.
But she was the aggressor. So it should have been that, ma'am, we're gonna take you in
Right.
because he was defending
And that
himself.
just started over a period of years. This, when a police was called for a male, it was never taken serious.
Which is why men need to definitely get on record if they're going to stay in those relationships, or they think they're going to try to hang
keep a trail about the
there
abuse.
should be a paper trail regarding that abuse. Same thing with the woman, because should the time come that you do have to part ways, then you have your documentation
Absolutely.
to support, whatever. But
Now listen to
yeah.
this. Okay, it says also in that same report on family violence, it says that women commit most child abuse and most elder abuse. So when you start looking at this type of information, are women just not real stable? Well, now we're